Welcome to episode 6 of the Boys of Spring. Might not be episode 6, but week 6 of the Boys of Spring United Football League sports gambling show, where we're going to give you our best plays for the weekend. Just to give you guys a heads up, this is pre-recorded. Some lines may change, so we're going off of this is Friday night. It is 9:51, and we are giving you our best plays. What's going on, my man, Jort?
Hey, you said it, 9:51. I been running all over the place. It seems like I can't believe it's that late, but and game as early as noon tomorrow. So if you guys do have any comments, I just personally had some running around that I had to do. So if you guys do comment on this video, I'll be able to see it. I'm sure Ty will be able to kind of check into it as well, and we could probably still pop in there and can answer the question on there. But appreciate you guys for watching all the same. And it feels great to have football in a world where the NBA is having blowouts in the playoffs, unfortunately, and MLB, the bullpens don't know how to, do their job. So you can always rely on some good old-fashioned football, though. And it's nice to have it. So let's talk about it.
What'd you think about last week's games?
There was the first week that I almost watched it all from beginning to end. So that was great. I tell you that some teams look fantastic, and then mainly though, we had that 4-leg parlay we do every week. So if you guys tuned in here now, make sure if you're watching on Twitter, watch it on YouTube, whatever you're watching on, at the end we'll put together 4-leg parlay, and we keep going like 3-1. It seems like every week, and we had that under in the Panthers, right? The Panthers and the Panthers, the Brahmas and Panthers, I think.
No, it was the DC
Showboats.
Defenders.
Was it?
Yeah. Wasn't it?
No, I think it was the Panthers and the Showboats.
Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Then the Panthers just ran all over the Showboats. And then it's like, then it was raining hard. And and you're like, oh yeah, it'll calm down. And then didn't they give up an 80-yard touchdown at the end or something like that?
It was at half.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, there's 2 seconds left. At that point, we were on pace for 38 because there was 19 points in the first. We were covered. We had the total at under 40 and a half. And they give up the and then not only do they give that up, but the team gets the ball back and they're able to get a field goal.
Yeah, right. So it's like double whammy.
Yeah. It was
So it's just the takeaway is that it's A, it's sports, B, it's sports gambling. Literally anything can happen. When you think you have it pegged, it just feels like an over league, and then you look and over-unders went 2-2 last week. So, in my head, it's like, let's bet all overs next week. And then it's just like, I don't know, because apparently they're not, but it's just like points just keep flying up there. Kickers are still kicking the hell out of the ball. The range is crazy, so it's super easy to score, as we've talked about. So, obviously still trying to figure out. I hope it lasts. It's great to kind of have this break. And then, Canadian football is going to be, literally here in a month or something like that. It starts in June generally. And then all of a sudden it's college football, so it's nice to have it, while it's here. I hope it lasts, just to give us that break from February until, week 0. What is August 28th or whatever, that there's be 4 or 5 games for week 0. There's already lines up already, but that's what I think about it. I think it's a nice break from, the normal summer sports that we get.
Yeah. I love it. I love football. This is so give me any form of it. Last week was a 50-50 week. I think I finished +1 unit, nothing crazy. I've had one bad week. Every other week's been positive. But I just felt like last weekend was one of those weekends that I just felt like I just could not find my footing.
Yeah.
Right, I'd win one, then I'd lose one, and then I'd win one, and it's just I kept trading.
Right.
And the guys that it was just one of those weeks where the guys that are doing what they're supposed to, specifically with the props. I know Jordan Ta'amu, we expected him to be playing from behind. He was at home, thought he was just absolute trash. So that's kind of just, some of the things that you got to fight through. And now that ESPN Bet is giving us props, it's going to be just another thing that we're going to have to, try and figure out and make sure that we're paying attention to our matchups and, picking them properly. I don't know how many totals I will mess with this week. I will certainly provide an opinion on my totals. I will say, if I think this game will be over and under, but I don't see myself betting on too many of them this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I usually that's kind of like the default. Like you're like, I don't know who's going to win. I think the dog might have it. Therefore, generally the over has a good chance. But I really have no, I could certainly give you an answer, but no, quote unquote, like this is what I brought to the table. Like they're all sides. And,
right.
I got a couple player props that I think honestly, I got a player prop in every game that I feel like is pretty sneaky. It's nice that it's here and to be able to kind of to handicap the game script alongside the players and the defense and stuff again. That's just the best part about football. It's just really knowing the sport and what you think is going to happen, and then have the props obviously work out for that, but
totally agree. So let's just get right into it. First game is at noon, I believe, on Saturday.
Yep.
They're no longer doing the regional things where 2 games are at 7 o'clock, and we're going to have my favorite team. I don't care. Call me a bandwagoner. I'm jumping on the best team. I'm from Philly. I don't get to jump on the best teams.
Right.
So I'm doing it right now. I'm taking the Birmingham Stallions. That's my team. But they're playing the Memphis Showboats. The Stallions are rightfully so favored by 13.5 points. And right now the over-under is sitting at 42.5. Now remember, guys, these lines are from Friday night. So with that being said, where are you sitting on this? Where are you sitting? Let's just start with the line, and then we can move to player props.
So, I mean, it just has to be the Stallions. I mean, it just has to be. I mean, they're literally they're at another level. I mean, you want to say, obviously this, you compete with an NFL team or anything like that, but their defense is awesome. They're, first overall in yards, first in rushing, second in passing. And I texted you about the other day, they're saying Adrian Martinez is going to be the quarterback. And I mean, that's the most important part. I mean, the dude's, running the ball effectively, throwing the ball really well. I honestly loved Adrian Martinez at Kansas State. That was a team I loved to bet on. I mean, I wear a lot of purple, so I was rocking them plenty of times, but I liked to bet on him at Kansas State. So I mean, he was doing really good. Defense is allowing the least amount of yards. Defense wins championships. I mean, you can go on and on. Fourth, the first least rushing yards, fourth in pass, and the Showboats just keep getting blown out. They lost by 17. They lost by 15, and in week 3 they lost by 19. And guess who they played in week 3? It was the Stallions. They lost 33-14. I mean, we flip home field advantage, but I mean, when you have the skill level that I think the Stallions have, I don't think home field advantage it matters at all.
I totally agree. So here's my okay. They played last time, right? Adrian Martinez was the starter for that game. I hope they do start him for this game. Okay. Case Cookus is up in the air, right? But, they played the 33-14 game. Case Cookus wasn't in it. And I saw, I felt like I was watching clips from NFL Blitz. Case Cookus, I feel like Rev should have thrown a flag just for the sheer violence that were in some of these hits.
Yeah, he nailed.
Dude, nailed, right? They even showed the coach walk up to him and be like, "Hey man, listen, if they score here, I'm pulling you." There was 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. We got to protect you. Yeah. So here's my biggest thing: the defense is insane. Okay, they give up 13.6 points per game. That's their average. The most they've given up all season was 18. Okay, everything else has been 14, 13, 14, and 9. Okay, the other big thing here, I mean, you talked about Adrian Martinez and stuff like that. I mean, I have written down here, I mean, he leads the league in rushing.
Yeah.
He doesn't even start every game.
Right.
Okay. He averages 12.6 yards per rush. The next closest rusher is 80 yards behind him. Okay. And last week he had 138 yards on 9 carries. So not only can they beat you through the air, but he will beat you with his legs. Okay. And then you're going to have to go try and score against the most ferocious defense I've seen in a long time.
Yep.
Again, I kept saying, I don't know. There's no team that deserves to be favored by a touchdown except the Stallions. And now I have to start saying that there's no team that deserves to be favored by 2 touchdowns except the Stallions. And at 13.5, I am taking them.
Yeah.
And last time they played, it went over the total. So if I had to lean one way for this game, I would take the total. Does come down to whether or not Case Cookus plays, because that backup Williams is Troy Williams, I think his name is. I mean, just no.
Yeah.
Just no.
And I'm pretty sure I had seen a tweet or something like that he was gonna be good to go. But I mean, like, it's unfortunately we don't have like that breaking news. Like, you know,
They don't do it.
You know,
They
I can't
don't
get
do
the tweet as soon as it's announced, you know, or anything like that. But yeah.
Well, where are you at with the props here for this one? Because they only give us two. They only give us two.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it a receiver and a running back?
Yeah.
I'm on the receiver.
Or only the showboats.
Oh, I got you. Well, good.
That's all they give. They gave two for they're not giving us any stallions because they know that it just they can do whatever they want.
Yeah. I like what's it? It's Daywood Davis, as I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't look up how to pronounce it, but I'm guessing that's how you say it. Over 50.5 receiving yards. And you talk about, like, you know, handicapping the game or whatever. I mean, they're going to be playing from behind and they're going to be having to pass. He had 16 targets last week, which is, I mean, just a massive amount. I mean, that's a ton of action. Obviously, we have a different quarterback that's going to certainly change some things, but he's still within like that game plan because he still does lead the team in catches. So I would imagine, you know, leads it in targets as well, or maybe he got 10 catches and that's why he leads it, you know. But I think they're going to force him to pass. And he averages 46 yards per game. So I mean, it's right there. It's nothing, you know, substantial, but I'm sure the line's inflated a little bit because they're going to be playing from behind. So unless they can't protect them and they're just throwing up prayers and stuff, but I mean, this really does seem like it could be like a 17-0 first quarter, you know, or whatever football, you know, UFL's got different football numbers, you know, but yeah, and they're going to be forced to pass. So, I mean, it just feels like, you know, and I don't trust, and I doubt there's a quarterback prop, but I certainly wouldn't trust yardage.
There wasn't. And the only reason why I didn't take a prop here was, I mean, I have it start here, is like Daywood Davis last time against the Stallions, he had 13. And then Victor last time against the Stallions, he had -1. So while I don't think that's the same case, it's just like, I'm just going to stick with one play here for this game, and that's the Stallions -13.5. Yeah. Now, they did offer the Stallions -7, you were telling me, on DraftKings at -7.
Yeah.
For the first half.
At least and I quickly looked at it. That's what it looked like it was. Yeah. I don't have it pulled up or anything.
So they have been played very closely in first halves up until last week. But if Adrian Martinez is confirmed to be the starter, I would feel comfortable taking the -7. I would.
Yeah.
Especially if Cookus is out and Troy Williams has to run again. I feel like that is a lock. But we're going to go with Birmingham Stallions -13.5. I'm leaning towards the over. And George's got Daywood Davis over 50.5 receiving yards. All right. The next game, I believe, is at 3 o'clock. We got the Houston Roughnecks versus the St. Louis Battlehawks. The Battlehawks are favored by 11 still.
Yep.
Possibly could have changed. And the over-under is 47.5.
Wow.
Sheesh.
Wild.
I mean, they scored 45 by themselves last week.
Yeah. Crazy.
A.J. McCarron looks incredible.
Yeah. 45 points in the UFL is even with, like, and it's not even like they're getting Niners on the board the whole time, you know, but I mean, you said, you know, does any team deserve a 13.5? I mean, you still have that same argument. Do they deserve an 11 or double digit type deal or whatever? But I mean, shoot, if you look at the Roughnecks, I mean, they're 1-4. And why do they have the win? Well, I mean, we had the toilet bowl already. You know, what were they, like 0-3 when they went against each other? Whatever, you know, they went against the Renegades. They very well could be 0-5, and the Renegades could very well be 1-4. Somebody had to win that game. Is that going to be the only game they win? I mean, I don't know. You know, they're not going to beat the Battlehawks. Obviously, it comes down to, you know, how much the Battlehawks are going to score. But I mean, AJ McCarron's been crazy. Almost 70% completion rate. He's thrown over 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns, and only 1 interception so far. Your guy, you know, Sailors has been fantastic, and the Roughnecks they just aren't good, you know. No. And then also the Battlehawks have, without a doubt, the best home field advantage. I mean, they're just packing that dome in. Like, thousands, tens of thousands, 20s of thousands of people there. And it's really like no other, you know, environment. And I think that plays such a big part of like your false starts and like you just, you know, your pre-snap type stuff for the opposing offense. So there's just no choice but to lay them.
Yeah, I mean 40,000 to be exact are the fans that have been showing up to these St. Louis Battlehawks games. I am laying the points, and I'm taking the Battlehawks -11. I have to. The last 2 weeks, they've covered that number. It's been 45-12, then 32-17. And I mean, you can see in the points per game, week 1, they scored 16, week 2, 27, week 3, 31, week 4, 32, week 5, 45. This team is just progressively getting better on offense. And right now, AJ McCarron is full speed ahead. Hakeem Butler looks amazing, and Sailors is just looking like the man. So I'm definitely laying the points here with the Battlehawks. They're at home. And the Roughnecks, they average 15 points per game. You can't prove that you can keep up with a team that can score 45. And that's what happens with these teams. If you don't have a defense, like the Panthers who kept it close with them, if you don't have a defense to combat this strong offense, like they are just going to just move down the field on you. They have a running back that can catch the ball. They have weapons everywhere. So the guy that can't even get the slot corner or the third cornerback on the depth chart, and I'm not even talking shit, right? The third guy on the depth chart of the UFL is having to go up against NFL talent. I mean, let's just be real. Those guys are definitely NFL talent that are on the Battlehawks.
I mean, some of them were in camps last
year.
Right.
Well, Hakeem Butler was actually in the NFL.
Yeah. I mean,
he was like 6'6".
McCarron went to the Bengals when Burrow went.
Yeah. So there's just too many weapons on that side. But this isn't even my favorite play. I love the Battlehawks -11. But my favorite play of the day is the Roughnecks quarterback, Sinnett, over 181.5 passing yards. Okay. He averages 203 yards per game. The lowest he's thrown in the 4 games that he started has been 191 yards. This is going to be a game they have to throw.
Yeah, for sure.
Have to. And then on the other side, I love Hakeem Butler over 58.5. The reason why I love that prop is because the average that comes out to, he averages 10 more yards than that a game. 68.8 is where he averages. And then Sailors would be my third. You know, he averages 56, and it's over 46.5. So for me, I'm taking Battlehawks -11. I'm taking Sinnett over. This is going to be a heavy game. Heavy game for me. I'm heavily. Sinnett over 181.5 passing yards. Hakeem Butler over 58.5 receiving. And then Sailors over 46.5. This could be a huge 4-unit sweep in a matter of 3 hours. I mean, that's how much I love those plays.
And we can't same game parlay, right?
No, they don't let you same game parlay the props.
That's frustrating.
It is so frustrating because the thing is, this script leans too heavily to favor these plays.
Yeah.
Right. And they know that. So they're not just going to let you throw these together and just get slaughtered.
I mean, the fact that they're even offering is, thank you, ESPN.
Yeah.
Because literally
nobody else.
And,
nobody else is stepping up.
I don't even know. I remember last year, like Prize Picks had some stuff, which then of course you could parlay, but I don't know if they do or not.
So they do have Prize Picks because Sean will text me.
Yeah.
He'll be like, hey, pick one, give me 4 or whatever. Right. And but they actually don't. I also don't like how they do it. Like, they won't have Adrian Martinez rushing yards.
Yeah.
Like, they are very choosy.
No alternative type stuff.
Right. Like, Adrian Martinez is going to kill it on the ground. So give me his rushing. But I digress. So where are you at? I mean, you like the Battlehawks too, but where are you at with props?
So, I mean, I think the Roughnecks quarterback prop is probably a fantastic play. Just like I talked about how, Daywood is going to have to be, they're playing from behind and whatever. I mean, you have the assumption. And then I think the Battlehawks just kind of force you into like, hey, like, this is a sprint. Like, you're going to keep up or you're just going to stay back there.
Yep.
Like we're getting into a barn burner. Like, call the popo, but I mean, I had AJ written down. I think his line opened at 190 and it moved to 205. So, I mean, I certainly would have liked it at 190 better. He averages 210. So, I mean, that's 5 yards over his average. But the reason I like him, though, is, I mean, even in the blowout last week, he still threw for 213 yards. So he didn't beat it by like a huge number, but I mean, he still did beat it. Last week, the Roughnecks, they didn't give up a lot of pass yards, but, the quarterback also ran for however many yards, you know what I'm saying? So like AJ doesn't have that mobility factor. Like, it's going to get done. on the ground with Sailors, or I can't think of the other Durant maybe.
Durant.
Or he's going to be passing it, obviously. And then like his
Mhm.
talent is just like insane. But like a stat that I had here though, Kukas, Teamu, and Perry all have thrown over 200 yards on this defense. AJ McCarron is without a doubt the best quarterback in the league. You know, so like these other quote unquote mediocre, you know, 1-5 or whatever, you know, whatever. I can't think of the defender's record right now, but they're not good. But Teamu threw for 200 yards, you know, so like it's just I say all that to say that I like your play a lot better. Like that's a solid look, you know, and
Right.
it's less and you know, like it's with the assumption that they're going to be throwing behind, and a lot of these Battlehawk games are overs. And you know, and at times they have that they certainly have that bend don't break kind of defense, and it's going to give up yards.
The main reason why I didn't really like fall in love with I love the McCarron play, right? But like it's just like when you look at his numbers, right? And like specifically like last week, right? 45-12. He threw for 213. Right. So this could be a similar situation with a scoring game like that, right? And my fear is like I don't know how they're going to necessarily attack this Houston Roughnecks defense, because they give up yards and they give up points, right? So it's like take your poison. So will they need McCarron? Will he just get all these yards early? So for me, it was just like, you know, who's the better play here? Is it McCarron or Sinet? And I just felt like, you know, after last week, you know, he got 213 and I know he went under. And I was just like, I'm just going to stick with the guy that I know that's going to have to throw the ball.
Right. Yeah, because the game script, I mean, it's literally like it's the perfect, like if they're playing from behind, they're going to be passing. If it's even, the need's going to be to pass. Yep. If they're winning, it's because they were passing, you know, and they had a big 80-yard touchdown or something like that to help out with the over, you know. So, yeah, I think yours is probably super solid.
And all right, so next we get to this game. I believe it's at 1:00 on Sunday. You got the Arlington Renegades versus the Michigan Panthers, who are favored by -4.5. I didn't even write down the total because, to be honest, I don't care about it at all, one bit. I can't even look that way. For me, this game is simple. I mean, I'll go first because I don't have that many plays here. It is the Panthers -4.5. It has to be. Danny Etling looks great since EJ Perry's gone down. You know, the Renegades, like, I feel like at this point they just have to give up. Like, they look atrocious. I swear, this team has cost me so much money because I believed in them. I'm like, they could do it. They could do it. Well, no, they can't really do it, but they also can't score. And then what do they go and do? They go and give up the over, right? They just, I cannot stand them. All right. I'm taking the Panthers -4.5. There's no way the Renegades can cover, in my opinion. They are straight trash. They give up 24.6 points per game. And I love Etling. They got Luis Perez at 235.5. Like, you're joke. Like, no way. No way. I mean, but again, if I were to take the under here, I'm going to get smoked.
Yeah.
So screw them. All right. The only thing I like here is Hills, the Michigan Panthers running back, because this Renegades defense loves nothing more than losing. They love to give up yards on the ground. They love to lose, but they love to get ran on more. So I would take Hills over 47.5. Last game out, he had 82. And the Renegades give up 123.6 yards per game. So that's where I'm at. I'm at the Panthers -4.5, and I'm taking Hills over yards.
Yeah, I mean, exactly the same. I have no want to, and I wish I was a type that would bet an under prop. I'll bet an under team, but I will not take an under prop. Like, I just can't do it. I'll look at it and be like, nope, that number's too high, not taking it. But I certainly won't think about taking the under. Yep. Look, is that the wrong thing? I don't care. I bet to also enjoy the game, and I don't want to watch, you know, a quarterback fail over and over, you know. But we'll start with a prop though.
What do I always say though?
Life's too short to bet unders.
Right.
But I certainly do a lot of football. But I like old boy Wes Hills too. You know, our thumbnail player of the day for this podcast is Hills. Honestly, probably my favorite prop. And I had a feeling that we would probably be on it. You know, the last week the Renegades allowed the Brahmas to have 2 rushers, almost double this total, like an 85 and like a 92 or something like that.
Yep.
Hills is the second leading rusher in the league averages 45 yards per game. And EJ Perry is out. So they're going to need to rely on his legs, instead of using, some other what's his name?
Danny Etling.
Yeah. Instead of using Etling, they're gonna more than likely be trying to run the ball. And I mean, he's the second leading rusher. He's the number one leading rusher of running backs. We take out Adrian Martinez.
Yeah, so. 80 yards behind Martinez. Yeah, crazy.
That is crazy. Let's see though. What notes do I have? Renegades 0-5. Panthers run the ball very well, ranked second in the league. Obviously, it helps when you have the number one running back. They actually, looked fantastic. Oh yeah, and we already talked about it. They looked fantastic, and we had their under the other day, and they just honestly they could do no wrong. Every time they touch the ball, the dude. I mean, you're just literally just flying through like untouched. I mean, honestly, even getting to the secondary untouched. I mean, the linebackers weren't even like filling holes.
Yeah.
They killed our 4-week parlay for week 5, or our 4-leg parlay for week 5. And you got to give an edge to the Panthers defense too. I mean, you got our boy Kai Nakua, leads the Panthers with 3 interceptions, got 6 pass breakups. I mean, the dude's really solid. So I mean, not only do I feel like they're gonna lean on this solid running back and his props be probably the best bet on the board for player props. They've also got a pretty good defense that I think they're going to be able to shut down this Renegades team that, like, I haven't like looked at them to be like, where do they go wrong? They're just not very good.
No, they're dog shit. And I'm sorry to curse, but that's the only word that can describe how like they don't deserve to even be here.
Yeah.
If I have to look at Luis Perez after he throws one more pick, like look to the sideline, like, bro, go sit down somewhere.
And, I saw a tweet saying, too, that they're like, that's our quarterback.
Yeah. Is there no one else?
I don't know. But no, they got Lindsey Scott, don't they?
Put little Murray out there. Who cares? I'm tired of seeing this guy toss the ball.
Hey, like, that's a game changer. Dude's fast.
Dude, they will start driving the ball 40 yards, and I'm telling you, a pick's coming. Oh, I wish that they would let us bet on Nakua to get a pick tomorrow.
Yeah, that'd be a
three in a row. Three in a row. It would be his 4th one.
Yeah, that's probably a little plus 300, plus 400, maybe something like that.
Yeah, it would be it would be a lock. All right, so let's see. All right, so let's move to our final game. You got the San Antonio Brahmas versus the DC Defenders. The Brahmas are favored by -1.5. Why don't you kick it off here, Jort?
So I'll be honest with you, like I just really don't care for either one of these teams. Like I don't know. Like I haven't watched as many of the Brahmas games and the Defenders. Like I don't know what the heck is going on with them. The Defenders are last in points allowed this year, last in passing yards like given up. So like people, are able to throw on the Defenders really well. At the same time, I feel like the Brahmas offense isn't moving as well with Dormady as a quarterback. Teamu should be the better quarterback, but like I don't know if he is, like just because I guess just from last year, the dude was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to do. I honestly don't know. You could persuade me either way. I really don't have a play. It would just be, I would lean towards Defenders just because of the whole, they hadn't lost a game in DC and ever, and they have a great, home field environment. Maybe they snap back after this is exactly what the doctor ordered kind of thing, and they come out and win. But I feel like this game is honestly kind of blah to me. But if I had to pick, I would say the Defenders.
All right, so here's where I kind of am at with this game. I have to take the Brahmas. Stormin Dormady, okay, is playing, in my opinion, lights out. He's played 2 games. All right, hear me out. He's averaging 216.5 yards per game. Okay. The kid's slinging the rock. He does have 4 interceptions, the 2 touchdowns, but the kid can throw the ball. Okay. And they've been winning with him. The other big issue is the fact that the defenders like to give up some points. All right. They're averaging on defense 26.8 points per game.
That's not good.
But they are home. Right. And up until last week, they hadn't lost at home since the spring football league was essentially a thing. which does make me nervous, right? Are they going to have a bounce back spot? I don't know, because Jordan Ta'amu looks just as bad as Luis Perez, in my opinion. Right? It's just I feel like they are the same exact quarterback most of the time. He will go out there and he will do some things, but then like he'll play terrible for the first like 3 quarters. Then with 5 minutes left in the fourth, all of a sudden the guy starts looking like Joe Montana.
And then he'll start trying to scramble more too.
Right. They were down 19-3. Next thing you know, somehow they win 20-19 because of him. So I really don't know where to go here. But based on, what I saw recently, the Brahmas have an offense that is just high flying at the moment. Okay. They got that spread offense, that West Coast. Man, it's so tough to figure out what to take here. I think maybe if I'm going to take anything, I would probably take Lovett over rushing yards. I believe it's like, let's see, Lovett over rushing yards. It's 45.5. I feel like that would be the best play on the board here. That's where I would be. Do you have a prop for this game?
I certainly have one written down. Mm-hmm. I would say that I probably like it better than trying to mess with like a side or anything. Because sometimes that's the best route to go, about a game if you don't know, how it's going to work out. But you think obviously someone's going to get some yards. I had Jontre Kirkland written down. Over 58.5. The Brahmas wide receiver. Mainly the defenders are giving up the most passing yards in the league. So somebody's got to catch the ball, and the dude's pretty solid, dude's super fast. I think it's going to be a closer game, so there's going to be like the need to pass. I don't see like a spot where either team is like up and like they're trying to milk the clock and just run it out. Like I think there's going to be the need to pass the whole time. And he averages 62, so it's 4 over his average, so it's nothing crazy. And you mentioned, Dormany can throw the ball. It's just that we need him to throw it to like his players, instead of 4 interceptions and what I think 2 starts is all, So obviously that's not, fantastic. These guys, these teams, this is another spot where this team has played each other already. And in the first matchup, he had 8 catches for 61 yards. Obviously that was a different quarterback. It wasn't Dormany then, but and that's also only over by 2.5 yards. But I would lean to the game script of thinking that there's going to be, a good opportunity to have some passing.
Totally agree. All right. So those are our picks for every game. So let's throw together the 4-leg parlay. So we will do 2 versions. We will do the version for the individuals that have ESPN Bet. That will be our favorite play. Okay. And then we will give you guys like a replacer if you guys aren't using ESPN Bet for the sides. Does that sound good? We know the name of this game. All right. So I'm going to guess the first 2 plays. I'm going to go with Stallions minus 13.5.
Yep.
You would agree?
Yep.
That's what I'm guessing. And the second play, I think, is a prop.
Yeah.
Right? So if it's a prop, well, I feel like a Sinet over 181.5 just covers us for any backdoor bullshit with the number being as big as it is.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, right? I like that prop a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. Because ideally, this parlay is the one this is the best bet. But for the people that can't, then we'll put together, one off, FanDuel, DraftKings, whatever, that you are, forced to take a side or whatever.
So if you're on FanDuel or DraftKings, we would say then to probably take the Battlehawks minus 11.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So it would be Stallions minus 13.5. And then Battlehawk, we'll just do them separately. Okay. Third one, what are you thinking? I haven't written down what I think you're going to take, but
Hills.
Yep. That's what I have written down. So Hills over 47.5 rushing. And now we just kind of have to decide on this final one. Yeah.
I just don't like this game.
I don't like it either. But this is what we do. So, okay, I feel like we have to choose a prop. We have to choose a prop because I don't trust. I love the Brahmas minus 1.5, but I just don't trust it. I don't think.
We can run that for the other.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. Yeah, we're gonna have to run either that or the total. So let's see. I'm just trying to get some stats real quick. Let's see team stats on defense. Let's see rushing. So okay, jeez, is that real? Okay. No. Hold on. That says first down. Total offense. Okay. Total passing yards. What does it say? Why do they have it broken? Dude, they have it broken down really weird here, dude.
You trying to find like the defenders?
I'm just trying to figure out like who gives up. Okay. Total rushing yards. Here we go. Per rushing attempts, average per rush.
The defenders are giving up 400. Are giving up on average of 95 yards per game on the ground. If that's
What are the Brahmas giving up?
88. So the Brahmas are fourth, like the fourth highest, and
Yeah.
then the defenders are
Okay.
the sixth highest.
Yeah, I think we just take Lovett. Like that was already a play I liked, and then if you're telling me that, like I just feel like because here's the thing, look, okay, based on the -1.5, it's gonna be a close game.
Right.
So teams are gonna run the ball and do things like that. They're not gonna have to, pigeonhole themselves or just completely abandon the run and go to the pass game. Or maybe the Brahmas get up a ton and they do abandon the pass game because they can just run. Right. But I think Lovett over 45.5 is the play. A lot of props here.
I think that's good because I mean, like you said, I mean, if there is a team that's going to get up high and going to mess with props, it's going to be the Brahmas getting up. I don't see any defenders getting up. So obviously, if the defenders get up and then all of a sudden, the Brahmas are just having to pass a bunch, then we read that wrong. But I don't think that's the case.
All right, so that parlay comes to plus 1079, and that's on ESPN Bet. So if we were to then remove the props, we would obviously go. Then it would be Birmingham Stallions -13.5. Then it would go Battlehawks -11, Panthers -4.5, and then
I feel guilty taking just all the favorites, but I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
So, okay, so
but I would certainly. I mean, I literally lean every favorite to that this week. Well, I feel like on the fence, like it's, I could see the defenders winning, but I mean, like, are the Brahmas a better team?
Okay, so what if we took the over in the Brahmas defenders game? That's why I would say would be the best play.
Yeah, as an alternative, and just hope two teams can do something.
Yeah, because I don't feel comfortable taking the -1.5 or the +1.5.
Yeah,
and that's plus 1,076. So we got plus 1,079 and plus 1,076.
1,200 on FanDuel.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So then I will be taking that to FanDuel.
That's crazy.
All right. I feel really good about these plays outside of the last game. The player props I feel really good about this week. When we have the same episode next week, I hope that I'm very excited for the first 5 minutes. I know this show is a little longer. I apologize. But with them adding in props and everything else, there's just a lot more to dive into.
For sure. So, like I said, I've got some running around to do tomorrow. So Ty, I'd imagine, will post both of those plays. Well, I don't know, right? You probably put them on the Twitter.
So they're going to go to the Discord tonight.
Okay.
Just because I want, like, that's the reason to be in the Discord, right? To get them before everybody else. Right. And I don't want the lines to change so one of the perks of being in the Discord. So that's the plan.
Yeah, that sounds good. So, what's the Twitter again? At Ty the College Guy? Is there underscores there?
Nope. Just one word.
So at Ty the College Guy. And then he'll tag me and I'll, at Live Joe Betts as well. I'll get those tweeted out. And obviously you want to have those by noon or so. But yeah, give us both a follow. Thanks for watching everything. We'll be back here every week until the end. I think we're through the halfway point. Was there only 4 more weeks or 5, I guess, including
this 5, yeah.
And then it gets into however their playoff format's going to look or anything like that, So, that's it for me.
Yep.
Hi, you got anything on the way out?
Nope. Just enjoy the rest of your morning, guys.
Yeah, there you go, guys. Thanks for watching so much. And hey, let's get 2 4-0s.